はい、皆さんこんにちは、翔です。今日は僕の、同じキングスに通う友達のデイビッドに来てもらいました。デイビッドは英語ペラペラなんですけど、イギリスに来た際はあんまり英語が喋れなかったっていう部分で、どうやって今の英語力まで伸ばしていったのか、その英語の勉強法についていろいろと聞いていければと思います。Today I would like to ask a bit about how he studied English, especially in this video, speaking. So David, before we jump in, could you quickly introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is David. I studied at King's College London in the same class as Sho in International Management. Came to UK when I was 16. I did my A-levels in the UK and then did undergraduate and now masters as well.
Perfect, thank you. So you came to the UK for the first time to do the A-levels, right?
Yep.
So that was when you were 16.
Yep.
And at that time, like, how was your English level? Was it quite fluent already or not much?
I would say my English was not as fluent, especially speaking. My pronunciation wasn't good. My accent wasn't good. My vocabulary wasn't as good. So coming here definitely helped improve my English.
Okay, so today we would like to know how you improved English because a lot of Japanese people, including myself, struggle to improve English, especially the speaking. So are there any specific things that you have done to improve your English, especially speaking?
I think definitely the number one thing that helped me was speaking with friends.
Yeah.
Especially native friends if you can find, or it doesn't have to be even native friends, just speaking English with your friends, because the more you speak, the more practice you get, the more you get used to speaking that language.
Yeah.
And eventually you'll just naturally be able to pick up, for example, the type of slangs they speak in UK or type of phrases they use, and their accents as well. It really helps with that too.
Okay. So you basically force yourself, put yourself to the environment that you have to use English to communicate.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sorry, you go.
Because when I used to live in Japan, compared to the UK, of course, there are fewer people who speak English.
Yeah.
But there are actually people who want to study English, and there are also people from abroad.
Yeah.
So I deliberately make the effort to make the friends and just it doesn't have to be like people from abroad, but from someone, even if someone from Japan, we sometimes have conversation with them in English.
I think that's the best way. I think that's how it helped me too.
Yeah.
Because in Czech, I didn't speak English as much. I spoke Czech instead, and so coming here, I had to only speak English. So it really helped me, and especially I think when you speak with friends, it's more exciting. You remember it more than if you learn it from like a video or something, or you speak to yourself. So it really helps to put in practice.
Okay. Have you ever had any kind of self-studies besides hanging out with friends or communicating with them?
Do you mean specifically for speaking?
Yeah, for speaking.
For speaking, definitely I like to actually watch a lot of videos where in general they just speak English, for example British English or American English, and from there I kind of get used to the way they speak and their accents, their vocabulary, the choice, the slangs, and by listening to a lot, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, movies. By listening a lot to English, my vocabulary naturally improved and my accent too, and I started speaking a bit more the way I heard them from the videos.
Okay. In that case, do you just watch videos with subtitle or something, or you just rewatch it? How do you watch it?
So for me, I just watch it without subtitles, but let's say if my English wasn't as good initially, I would definitely watch it with subtitles, so it also improves their listening, because sometimes they might speak too fast, so it helps with subtitles. And then so you can not only hear the word, but you can also see it visually, so that's how you kind of remember it. And then the more you watch it, the more you get used to reading it, and then eventually you can just watch videos with subtitles. And after that, you just naturally start really soaking in all that, the way they speak and everything, and it becomes more natural too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you said you are watching the videos and movies and stuff in English and you hang out with your friends, have you done it simultaneously at the same time, or you watch a lot of video first and then you hang out with friends and actually put it into practice, or how did you do that?
So I think for me, I even before coming to UK, I used to watch English videos, but my English wasn't still as good. It really helped me to get to like a certain point, but I think to get to a more closer to a native level, I think you really need to put in practice and speak more to really apply what you learned.
Okay, that's what I did in Japan as well, actually. So I took a lot of English online lessons. It's kind of like the platform where I can communicate with teachers, I mean like native English speakers from Japan to someone who is living outside of Japan. And it really helped me because I didn't have any chance to speak English besides communicating with friends or other Japanese friends who is studying English. So actually putting into practice definitely
helps, right?
Important.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Alright, you got any other questions?
Today I would like to ask you a bunch of questions about how you guys studied English and how you improved, especially speaking in this video. But before that, could you quickly introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Lal. I'm from Turkey. I did psychology in UCL for my undergraduate, and right now I'm doing international management masters with these two gentlemen. That's about it.
Hey guys, I'm Max. I'm still Max. I'm from Russia. I did my bachelor's in Russia as well. I did public administration, and now I'm stuck with this too.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So it will be very beneficial for someone who is actually trying to improve their speaking in Japan to understand how people like you who speak really fluent English improve their English. So maybe we can start talking a bit about your English learning journey. So it would be great if you can, share a bit about how you studied. I mean, like what was your English journey was like?
Do you want to start?
Sure. I started studying English when I was in the 4th grade. I also had some English in my elementary school, but it was not really profound. It was just some basic ABC stuff. So I don't think it was really helpful. But then I started to, consistently learn English and speaking as well. And when I was, I think, 16, I started to watch English YouTube, like PewDiePie and some other bloggers. And I started watching movies in English as well. And I would usually turn on subtitles, and I would prefer to use English subtitles so that I can look up the words I don't know. I think it was kind of helpful as well. I think that's it.
For me, I think it started a bit earlier. My school was very focused on English. So especially the speaking part, I kind of learned it as I was growing up. But I agree with Max. I think my biggest improvement, my biggest step up, it came from, first of all, watching YouTube videos, and then watching just generally TV shows and movies in English with subtitles. I first started with Turkish subtitles when I was watching to actually understand what it meant, and I could kind of recognize some of the words. And then as I got a bit better, I switched it to English, and I was trying to keep up with the actual English words, trying to understand it. I looked up some words when I didn't know what they meant. I also tried to do that in reading, although it was a bit more boring because you got stuck on pages and then you had to go to the dictionary, look it up, come back. But I think it really helped me to understand. So I think it's the biggest thing about learning English, no matter which stage you start from, is to push yourself to be in an environment where you have to understand what it means, or where you push yourself to learn it, basically. I also had some family that lived in America, so that was very beneficial for me because they didn't really understand Turkish, so I had to talk to them in English. So if you kind of restrict yourself, constrain yourself to talk, listen English stuff whenever you can, wherever you can, I think that's the best part of it. It's not about just, you know, learning English in class.
Yeah, I agree. I think traveling as well.
Yes.
When we traveled with my family,
Yep.
I usually was the one who communicated with foreigners because my parents, they don't speak English like at all.
So basically you deliberately put yourself in the environment that you have to. Basically you're forcing yourself to speak English and improve your
Because
English.
if I couldn't do it, like no one in my family could do it. So so I had to speak with like, I don't know, taxi drivers, shop assistants or something. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the improving English by watching videos, movies or dramas or whatever, you mentioned that in the beginning you watch all these video contents with subtitle. How did you study from it?
So I remember that like in my teenage years, streamings were not that popular in Russia.
Okay.
And so you would have to use some not so official websites, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was really hard to find good subtitle, like, you know, good translation and stuff. And sometimes I would stuck with Russian subtitles. And no, that's okay as well, because I think the most important part is to just listen to the way people speak.
Yep.
Because then you can replicate, you know, some phrases, like the way they speak. I think that was really helpful. But I think that when you want to go deeper in your English learning, you should turn on English subtitles as well. Because, I mean, of course we're not natives, so we don't know all the words. And sometimes even like in a just simple entertainment show, they can use some words that is not so, you know, popular. And I think looking them up, maybe you don't even have to, in my opinion, like write them down or something. You can just, you know, if you heard them once, second time you will heard them, you will I think I heard this one, you know, and then step by step you will learn.
But I still have some words that I don't understand, and I think it's like a good practice to try to make sense of like a general sentence, for example. You don't always have to know every single word. If it's like this, you know, very sophisticated terminology and you don't know it, like when you watch, for example, TV shows, you kind of have the practice to make sense of the general, like what's happening. I think that's also a good trick. So it's not about learning every single word there is in English. I think that's not realistic.
I think in IELTS exam they also state this, that you should understand 80% of the text to answer the questions.
Yes.
So these exams they kind of take it for granted that you don't know all the words exactly, you know, but you still need to make sense of it. Yeah, exactly. I agree completely. Wow.
So when it comes to the like actually watching, have you watched the same contents multiple times with subtitles, English subtitles, or just watch it once?
I think I watched it once, honestly.
Yeah, same. I think same.
But just, you know, you have this. I mean, you watch like different videos back to back, but it's all in English.
It's all in English.
It's not that you watch one single video and repeat it until you understand it fully. You watch different ones, but you try to stick to English, even when it's out of your comfort zone. I didn't return back to, you know, Turkish subtitles, Turkish dub, for example. I didn't watch.
Yeah, sometimes maybe when you listen to music, you listen to it multiple times. And I sometimes had this feeling that when I hear the music for the first time, I don't understand the lyrics, but then I read them, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now I can, you know, differentiate words in the sentences, and I can hear what they're talking actually about.
Okay, so it's more like getting used to
to the way they speak.
And I think actually music is very good, which I didn't really pay attention to that much, because it gets stuck in your head, so you can actually, you know, practice it a bit more. It's kind of different than watching a movie or a TV show and only watching it once, or a video or something. if you actually understand what it means and it gets stuck in your head,
Yep.
it's I think a very good practice overall.
Okay. That's actually a good point, I think,
Yeah.
because a lot of, I mean, like including myself, I sometimes force myself to study English as a subject,
Yeah.
but your approach is more like understanding and learning English as a like enjoyable and fun way,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
listening to music, watching movies. So, and sometimes like you also put yourself in the environment that where you have to actually speak English to practically, output what you've learned from these kind of fun studies,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense actually.
And it is also like live language. It's not the language from the books. It's the language people actually use. So I think it's more important to know how to speak and use, the language everyone uses in a country rather than speaking as you're from the 20th century or something. Yeah. And music and movies, they help you with that a lot, I think.
Definitely.
Okay. That was very helpful.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to interview you?
Yeah.
So how did you learn English? How did you improve?
Okay, so first of all, I think the most important thing is to enjoy, as you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like Japanese education itself focuses a lot on reading and listening, which is fun, but it doesn't put the emphasis a lot on speaking and actual communication and fun stuff like watching movies or listening to music. So how I improved English is more like I try to enjoy it a lot. So I try to associate with my hobbies, and I really like to, for example, build Legos. And I watch a lot of YouTube and a lot of movies about Lego in English, as well as every time I buy Lego, I always visit Lego's website. Like it's obviously everything is in English. So what I try to do is not to actually like study, but to also enjoy as much as possible. And I think that's the most important thing.
I think so.
To actually continue studying English. And I think when it comes to language learning in general, you have to do it like ideally every day for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like one day super focused, intense study, and then the next day you'll be able to speak English. That's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
So in order to maintain your study journey, I think enjoying is crucial.
Yeah.
I agree.
When did you start learning?
Okay, so I properly started learning English when I was 13.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You're very good then.
No, I mean like of course I liked English
Okay.
before, so but like when it comes to properly starting, it was at the age of 13.
Okay.
Because in Japan, after you got into middle school, you have English as a subject. Right now, I think a lot of Japanese elementary schools, they incorporate English as a one subject, proper subject, even in like 4th or 3rd grade in elementary school. But at that time, like it started properly at the age of 13. So that's when it started. Yeah.
And I think actually, I forgot to mention another thing.
Yeah.
I think video games as well.
Video games.
Yeah, in some sense. Like a lot of games are not translated, and sometimes you just, especially when you're a kid and you don't have any understanding of what's happening in your screen, you just have to
that's true,
learn, through pain and this. Like, okay, now I know that
Yeah.
play means like to play, and like start means to start, or like settings are the settings where you do the settings actually.
Actually, I remember learning those words when I was in games.
Yeah.
You're trying to save your progress, but you accidentally click quit,
Yeah,
and
a
it's
lot.
like embedded in your mind.
experience.
Yeah.
Or like if it's
maybe you
a
remember
racing
the
game,
words.
like lap is like laugh,
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. So I think you just have to put yourself in an environment where you kind of have to learn. It basically comes on to that. I mean, it's interesting because we all started at different times.
Yeah.
And look, we're all at the same place together. We're all talking good English, in a good course.
Yep.
It's definitely possible. I think it's just about your motivation, how much you actually want to push yourself to learn, which is also in writing, which we're going to come to next. Yeah.
Thank you guys. I think that was really helpful.
Yeah. Hope so.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Let's move on.